greatest thing you can be, a martyr, a mother. The pedestal on top of which sits the perfect mother appears in our creation myths. There is Gaia, Mother Earth from Greek mythology, who bore the powerful, monstrous children of the god Uranus, the Titans. An Algonquin legend tells of the Mother of Life, who feeds plants, animals, and humans at her bosom. The Inca mythology includes Mama Pacha, fertility goddess of planting and harvesting. Christians have Eve, who failed in her first task, not to eat, and was given a second, bear children. Each creation story ties together the concepts of the worldly and the otherworldly, the flesh and the myth. Not all creation stories begin with a mother. Not all of them involve a woman's body given up for the good of, as it's often phrased, mankind. But in America, to be a mother is to become a myth. To be a mother is to step into a role of someone else's invention. To cosplay a character who exists at the intersection of race, class, gender, and religion. Stepping into this role, a woman is no longer a human. But then, was she ever truly seen as human? She is now a river. She is dew. She is a majestic tree. She is earth and wind and magic and mama. But not all mothers are permitted to embody this hallowed, all-consuming role. And who our culture sees as not succeeding in the role of mother says even more about how we conceive of mothers than who we laud as perfect exemplars. In our cultural imagination, the perfect mother is a white, middle-class, straight, cisgender, married woman. She announces her pregnancy on social media with a photo in which she's smiling, draped in a gauzy dress, framing an almost non-existent bump with her hands, wedding band glinting in the light. We are happy for her. We say, "Congrats," over and over in the comments. Her hair is perfectly curled. Her husband smiles benignly behind her. She is the modern-day Virgin Mary. This mother doesn't force us to think of the complications of sperm and egg. With the focus on her glowing skin and hair, we get to skip that part. The perfect mother would never force us to think about sex. Imagine if that woman had conceived before she was married, perhaps as a teenager. She announces she's pregnant and we whisper, "What happened? Couldn't she keep her legs closed? What went wrong?" We think of the darkness. We picture the wet-stained sheets, the tearful acceptance, her parents. We blame her cavernous need, her cavernous stupidity. We blame her for her failure to live up to an arbitrary moral code. We don't reckon with the societal conditions. What we told or didn't tell her about conception. After all, Texas, with its focus on abstinence-only education, has one of the highest teen pregnancy rates in the nation. We excuse the boy who refused to wear a condom, but not the girl who didn't push back and insist he wear it. The girl who didn't have access to birth control, or who was too ashamed to seek it because of her religion, her family, her lack of money or adequate sex ed, or both. No, in those moments, we think only of the girl, of her sex. Imagine she's black. Why did we imagine her white in the first place? Then our whispers silence, and in their place are wry smiles. Of course, we nod. Of course she's pregnant. And no, that nod doesn't make us racist. It's just statistics. It's not racist if it's a fact, right? Imagine she has no husband. Imagine her husband is her wife. Imagine she has no uterus. Imagine her husband has a uterus and is carrying their child. Imagine mothers. America scorns a fat mother. In 2019, writer Virginia Soul Smith reported in a story for New York Times Magazine that fertility clinics will refuse to work with women if they deem their body mass index, BMI, is too high. The science behind that reasoning is based on a 1952 study that associated obesity with menstrual disturbances, a broad descriptor. Recent studies seem to back up the finding that women with higher weights have a harder time conceiving. But being overweight alone does not preclude conception or childbirth. And